What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Too Pop to Handle. We are in our 5th episode. 5 is my favorite number, so the vibes are high this week. Our camera is back. We fixed our technical difficulties, so we are on a high note. We are doing good, and yeah, I'm so excited to be recording. So I hope everybody is having a fabulous week. It is Thanksgiving week, which means none of us are really working, right? Like all of us, we're like physically logged on or at our desk. I'm in office 5 days a week, so like I'm physically at my desk, but like we're all just like skating by, right? And I feel like normally it's like, oh my God, don't say that. Like, what if your boss sees it? But like everybody knows this week is like a free for all. Like you get your work done, you're not working, but you're putting in minimal effort, right? Like we can all agree there. I feel like we're all aligned. But yeah, so it's the week of Thanksgiving, which is nuts. We are already it's the year's basically over. Like it is 2024 is so close, and that's insane to say out loud. But alas, if you're watching on YouTube, we are decorated for Christmas, so the year is coming to an end. We went full send on Christmas this past weekend, and I'm excited. I'm loving it. You know, I teeter back and forth with like decorating too early for Christmas. I understand the excitement and the want to, but I'm someone who I don't want to overdo it. I feel like anytime I overdo it and decorate like the first weekend of November, by Christmas, I'm like, oh my God, take this tree out of my living room. But this year we waited, we pushed it. My boyfriend and I, we compromised. He was ready before Halloween. I was like, no, we gotta wait. So midway November, now we got like a month and a half with the Christmas decor, and I think we'll be good. Like I won't get sick of it. So it's feeling festive around here. Christmas is in full swing in New York. There is like the Macy's windows are out. Bloomingdale's is decorated. Everywhere is decorated. So it's starting to feel real. It's like Christmas time is here, and it's so cliche, but like Christmas in New York really is like unmatched. It's just like so magical. It's obviously annoying because there's so many people, like tourists in the area, but you know what? That's what happens when you live in the best place on earth. So that being said, if you're listening to this the day the episode comes out, it is Thanksgiving Eve, Blackout Wednesday, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just here to say, if you are going out in your hometown tonight to your hometown bar, or going out, with the girls doing something, 2 rules. Don't text your ex. Don't hook up with your ex. Do you hear me? You are not hooking up with your ex at Thanksgiving Eve, and you are not texting your ex at Thanksgiving Eve. I don't care. There's no excuse. You heard it here first. So those are my rules for Thanksgiving Eve. Take that as you will. But if you do go out for Thanksgiving Eve, have a blast. Be safe. Thanksgiving Eve was always like a blur, I feel like, to me. There was like this one bar in my hometown that everybody would go to. We would all go there, and you would see every year. You're like, ugh, I'm going to see all these people I don't want to see. And it's just like always, it was always a blast. You always had fun, but it was always that like weird anxiety before it. And I'm like, at that point, I guess we were still, we were all kind of freshly graduated, like still in college doing our thing. So it was exciting to go home and to see people, but then nobody wanted to see everybody from high school. You know what I mean? Like nobody was excited to go out and like run into the mean girl who like called you a faggot in middle school. Like nobody was excited for that, but we all did it. And I had my fair share of Thanksgiving Eve. So I definitely, I'm sending my love and my well wishes to anybody who is going out this year. I am not partaking in Blackout Wednesday. I mean, maybe I will. I don't think I am, but I'm not doing it this year. So more power to everybody who is. I hope you guys have fun. Just some like things to catch up on from last week. I did go see the 1975. That was fun. I had a good time. I do need to we need to talk about Matty Healy. Like, is he okay? I know it's like a bit, and I know like he does these things and he gets like outlandish on stage, and like, it's the whole like, I don't care, rock star, I'm going to do and say whatever I want, but like, is he okay? Like, genuinely, when was the last time somebody did a mental health check on Matty Healy? Halfway through the show, I was like standing there and I was watching him, and I had this realization, and it wasn't necessarily a good one, but again, just me tying everything back to Lindsay Lohan. If Stu Wolf from Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen was a real person, it would be Matty Healy. Now think about that for a second. Stu Wolf, the rock star, the singer that they go follow down the alley, they like wait outside the venue to get inside, like the rock star who's a hot mess, always drunk, like stumbling everywhere. Like if he was a real person, it would be Matty Healy. And having that realization, I was like, oh my God, like, is he okay? I don't know. It was a lot. Like I said last week, it was my first time seeing them in 9 years. So I've like, obviously I've listened to the music. I'm a fan. It just like never worked out. I couldn't get tickets or I wasn't in town. Like I just could never make it to one of their shows in New York. And yeah, I had a blast. It was a great show. It was a lot of fun. But a lot of the time I was just like, what is going on? Like, is everything okay? That's kind of my take there. They did play Hard Out, which is my favorite 1975 song of all time. It's usually on the set list, but they take it on and off some nights because they like to just switch things up. And they did play it. Thank God, my favorite 1975 song of all time. But I will say, I took an edible like 2 songs before that. And for some reason, the second, I mean, maybe because it's my favorite song, but I swear to you, the first beat of that song, it kicked in. I was teleported to Mars. It was wild. So it was definitely an experience. I had a blast. But yeah, so that's kind of my 1975 recap. Lots of fun, had a good time, but somebody do a mental health check on Matty Healy. Also over the weekend, me, Thomas, my boyfriend Ashley, and my best friend Ashley, and her boyfriend Abhishek, we did the Broad City Challenge. We walked from the tippity top of New York to the tippity bottom, or Manhattan. If you haven't watched Broad City, first of all, what is wrong with you? Second of all, start it immediately because it's one of the funniest and best shows on TV. I want to say it's on Hulu streaming now. I think it's 6 seasons. The episodes are really quick. It's the funniest show. It's hilarious. I'm obsessed with it. And in one of the episodes, is for Abby's birthday. They celebrate by walking from 225th Street, so all the way uptown, all the way down to the Battery, so where like you can see the Statue of Liberty. And it's become a TikTok challenge. It's become like a thing now. So I've been wanting to do it forever. My boyfriend and I talk about it all the time. And then Ashley and Abhishek said, actually at the 1975 show, they were like, oh, we want to do it this weekend. Are you guys down? I was like, absolutely. So we did that. We got our steps in. It was 32,000 steps the whole time. It took us 6.5 hours. So we started at like 10:30 and we finished by like 4:30ish. It was honestly so much fun. Definitely recommend it. It was, obviously it's a long day, so you really have to carve the time out, but there's just so many different things you can do and see within the entire time span of walking all of Manhattan. And it was just really cool to kind of go through all the different neighborhoods, kind of take in all the different scenery, and we made fun like stops along the way. We went to the Only Murders in the Building apartment where they film it. We got some lunch, just like lots of fun. I posted a little vlog, like a little TikTok vlog on our page, so if you want to check it out, go check that out over there. But it was a blast, and if anybody is considering doing it, I 100% recommend doing it. We also had some fun music releases last week. Obviously, Miss Renee Rapp, she released the extended version of Snow Angel. I talked about it last week. I talked about it the week before. I feel like every episode I've probably mentioned Renee Rapp, but it's just, I can't help it. She's just like, she's doing it. She is that girl right now. So she released the extended version of her debut album. 4 new songs on it: Messy, I Do, Swim, Tummy Hurts, featuring Coco Jones. All 4 of them. She doesn't miss. So good. Messy is definitely my favorite. I was talking to my friend Jacqueline today, and I was like, Messy and Talk Too Much, the opening track of the album, are sisters, I feel like, because Talk Too Much, she's saying how, she thinks she talks too much and she's always overthinking things and she's worried about this and that. And then in Messy, she's saying, loving me is messy. You're going to leave and I'm going to make up these fake scenarios. So I'm like, girl, I see what you're doing. Like, I see the overlap, and I love when an artist releases a deluxe version and the songs still kind of are like sewn in, like they're album cuts, but they still make sense with the album. I feel like sometimes you get deluxe songs and you're like, where the hell did this come from? Like, were you writing the same album? Like, they almost feel like they were like scrapped from another project. All 4 of these are like, they tie in so well. I feel like even I Do with the wedding song, like, what do you say at a wedding? You say I do. The wedding song, I feel like they kind of tie together. Even Swim, maybe like, I feel like Snow Angel and Swim kind of go together because she's like, I'm drowning. Snow Angel, she's like, I'm waiting for you. I don't know. There's just so many. It's just nice when a deluxe version has songs, that are clearly album cuts from this album and not from a previous one. So claps all around, Renee. Fantastic. Sabrina Carpenter released the Fruitcake Christmas EP. Just so much fun. She's just always in on the joke. Like, she just runs with it. She has so much personality, so much character. I just love her. So much fun. And it just like, fun Christmas music, like just like silly, fun pop Christmas music. You just can't go wrong with it. So huge releases this week. And then there is one more, but I'm saving that for the end of the show. And we will I have a lot to say about the third release from the week. So stay tuned for that. And then diving into just kind of what's been going on this week. I mean, again, I every week try to not talk about Taylor Swift, but it just seems like that's not possible. Though this, I do have more of just a generic conversation to have. So Taylor Swift this weekend, she was in Brazil for the first time ever, mind you. So that's huge. I mean, anybody who's like a big fan of anybody online, Brazil always pulls through. Brazil is ride or die for these artists. So like, to finally have Taylor Swift going to Brazil is huge. So it was just so much went wrong. And this is like, okay, so first and foremost, there was a heat wave in Brazil during that weekend. So the temperatures were reaching like 130 degrees, which is just insane. Obviously, this is the biggest tour right now. She can't just like cancel everything. There's a lot, I get it. There's a lot going on. That being said, all of the international dates have a GA pit. And I actually saw somewhere that in like international countries, their seating is GA as well. So you just buy like 100 level section. This could be wrong. I don't know. This is just what I saw on Twitter when I was doing some research. But somebody said, they were like, yeah, we just want it. We got in, here's our seat. Like you kind of just find your seat when you go. And if I'm wrong, please like someone let me know. But that's just what I was getting from Twitter. So the main thing, though, I'm saying is the floor was completely general admission. General admission as a whole is hell on earth. General admission during a heat wave at the Eras Tour, you could not pay me. That's insane. Oh my God. So, and then the venue decides that they aren't going to open the vent. So obviously a stadium is open for the most part, but they have these vents that they could open to let airflow in. The first night of the tour of the weekend, they closed them. So it made it so unbelievably hot. Even in the videos, you can see Taylor performing. She's like bright red. Her hair is all sweaty. Like she was clearly going through it. Like it was hot. So I can only imagine when you fit hundreds of thousands of fans together in a floor when they're standing next to each other. Like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like I get hot standing on the subway. I can't imagine walking into a Taylor Swift show in 2023. No, absolutely not. Then there were fans passing out left and right. I read somewhere that like it was up to 1,000 fans had passed out. Apparently Taylor's team bought water for the fans. It wasn't handed out. They like weren't letting people go get the water. It was just like a mess all around. So there's got to be some type of lawsuit coming for this stadium because they did not handle any of this correctly. Then, I mean, really like the saddest part of it all is the fan. There were two fans, but the first fan, Anna, she passed away before the show even started. She passed out, went to the like hospital, and she passed away, unfortunately, which is just so heartbreaking. There were so many pictures of her posting before the show. People found like old photos of her. So it's just so, I've said it so many times, but like concerts are like my favorite thing in the world. I love live music. Concerts are my happy place. Concerts are supposed to be the place where we go and it's like a safe space. And they have just gotten to a point where it's like, you just never know what's going to happen, whether there's like the whole Ariana Grande attack in London, people passing out. Like you just really never know what's going to happen. And it's just like, it's insane that we've gotten there. Like concert etiquette between like venues, way people act at concerts, all of it, the ticket buying process, it's all just become such a headache. And as like an avid concert goer since I was literally like 6 years old, it's wild. And I know like a lot of people listening to this will agree because when I talked about it a few weeks ago, I got so many people, so many of my friends and, people commenting and texting me being like, you're right. Like, what is going on? Like, it has just become such this, like, I don't even know the word for it. I don't even know. It's just become such a thing. And it just makes me sad to see, something that's supposed to be so happy and exciting and like a celebration just turning into like an unfortunate event. So there was the fan, Anna, who did pass away. Then the area where the show was is just like not safe, I guess. And there's a lot of like gang activity. There were Swifties like at like a Burger King, I believe, or like in like a restaurant near there. And they were being held at gunpoint. One of them was robbed and he was killed. Like there was just so much going on this weekend. It's just like, It's insane. It's so sad. And I don't know. I'm just like, this stadium, A, like, how is this going on? B, what were you thinking? Like, obviously you plan this out years in advance or months in advance, however long it takes, but like, you guys you knew there was a heat wave coming. You didn't think open the vents, didn't think to get more water, didn't think to hire more ambulances to have on site. Like, they didn't happen until the second night. That ended up having to get canceled because of how hot it was. It was just such a mess. And I don't know, my heart goes out to all the fans who couldn't go to the show because one of them got canceled or rescheduled, to the family who did lose their son, their daughter. Just so upsetting and heartbreaking. And I hate to even like bring a sad thing on, but I feel like if I didn't talk about it, it would be, I've been talking about Taylor Swift every episode. We're 5 episodes in and not one of them hasn't mentioned Taylor Swift. So like, I couldn't just like ignore it. It's just nuts. It's so sad. And piggybacking off of that, the merch situation last week, if you're unfamiliar, Taylor Swift did the past 2 years, she's done like an eras drop. So every era gets new merch. So she does this whole thing. She has like the Lover House, and each room in the Lover House is obviously a different era. You can click in and there's like exclusive new merch, whatever. She started doing these surprise drops it was 3 p.m. Oh God, I'm having like PTSD thinking about it. She was doing these surprise drops. It was called the All the Stars Align. And it was like these merch items that were so sought after. It was crazy. They started off with like the Lover Snow Globe, which is like it resells for like $2,000. It's insane. The second day she restocked like every signed CD, every exclusive vinyl, every like any music collector's dream, like me essentially. Like I collect vinyl, I collect signed items, and I unfortunately couldn't get anything because bots got all of it. And then the third day she re-released all of her cardigans, which is another sought out item. The way that this website, I had things in my cart at 3 o'clock on the dot, 3 p.m., 0 minutes and like 39 seconds, nothing. The way that bots are now taking over every single website, it's getting out of control. It is nuts. I have never in my life seen a merch sale sell out in less than a minute like that. It was crazy. And it just like ties into like what is happening fandom wise. Like, we have gotten to such a point where like these artists, specifically now Taylor Swift, but really like it's going to spread to other artists. I believe like if there's a demand for something, there's these like crazy bots that are just going in and buying everything. It's nuts. I don't know. It was crazy. And like, I'm fine without a signed CD. Like, it's okay. But it was just like, it's crazy to see the way that like this merch has become such a coveted thing and people are like going nuts over buying it. I don't know. It's crazy. And I want to do an episode where I talk about being a fan, like pre-Stan Twitter and after, and like the developments through it. So like, I feel like I need to do a deep dive of like what it was to be a fan pre-Twitter, early Twitter, post-pandemic, during there are just so many different eras I feel like fans have lived through. I'm brainstorming that episode. So that's something that's definitely going to come. I don't know when it's going to come, but I need to do something because it's like, it's nuts. And I have a lot of thoughts on that. But nipping that in the butt and moving on, this next thing that happened this past week, I never in my life thought that I would be talking about Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide in 2023. Never, no. It was just like not even on my radar. Any of the actors, nothing in that show. I watched the show growing up. Now, the stars of the show, so the 3 main stars, started a podcast, I guess, recapping the show. I haven't listened to it. I don't have any interest in listening to it. I've seen it on TikTok here and there, but like, I don't know. It's just not something that I'm interested in listening to. This past week, they decided to get a little descriptive, I guess you could say. They start talking about like hooking up on set and how like the girl who played, I think her name was Mo or Mose or something like that. The girl who played Mose was like giving Ned blowjobs in her car and on the couch in the green room, like in all. I'm like, you could have kept all of that classified. Like, you did not need to declassify this information. You could have kept that a secret, just watch the show, recap the episodes, and like go on with your life. When I saw this clip on TikTok, and it went viral, it was everywhere. It was like I saw it on Instagram, TikTok. I saw like news places posting about it. Obviously, they did it for the virality moment of it all. I think they knew what they were doing, clipping it. Like, they're not stupid. Like, it makes sense. Like, I get why they did it, but I'm like, are we really like airing that out right now? Wild. which then leads me in, I'm not going to go too deep into this because I could go on for hours, but like this whole era of like child stars starting a podcast and just like airing out their dirty laundry, I feel like it has become this weird corner of the internet. And trust me, if you had an issue where like sexual assault, if you were like harassed, things like that, and you go on a podcast to talk about it, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like Christy Carlson Romano starting a podcast where all she does is bash like Disney and bring up like this and that from the past, and like where all they do is focus around their childhood stardom that didn't last. And granted, like I get it, it's the nostalgia factor. I mean, here I am talking to a microphone in my living room and like I'm not a child star. So like I understand, like I'm not anti the podcast. I think doing it and like doing a rewatch, I think it's cute. Like I'm pretty sure Jennifer Stone and the dad, I can't think of his name right now, from Wizards of Waverly Place, I know they have a podcast, and I'm pretty sure it's like a recap. Like they rewatch the show, they talk about it. They're not talking about giving each other head in between takes. Keep it to one thing. I feel like a rewatch thing is fun. That's fine. But like the little like Disney Channel drama hate tour that Christy Carlson Romano is like constantly leading. What is like, I get it. It was traumatic. You guys were like the first stars on Disney, but I'm like, can we chill? Can we relax? Like it's, I don't know. And then there's like Annalise Vanderpool, Chelsea from That's So Raven, constantly teasing like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? It's like, girl, just say it. We don't need 17-part TikToks about like why you're not on Raven's Home anymore. Just fucking say why, or don't. It's crazy to see these stars who had their limelight like back in the day, and not that they're not famous now, or like I'm sure if they tried, they could maybe get a role. I don't know. Like maybe they should take some of the energy. What I'm trying to say is maybe they should try and take some of the energy out of the podcast and put it into like an audition. Maybe that's harsh. I'm just like, do we really need another tell-all about like Dan Schneider on Nickelodeon loving feet? Do we really need another tell-all about like not getting cast because you were too fat or too skinny or too this or too that? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's harsh. I don't know. It's just a lot. And there's a whole lot to go into this. Like there is a whole side of the internet, TikTok, podcast world where it's just like the anti-childhood star movement. And like, to a point, I get it, but I'm like, I think it would make more sense if these stars weren't starting their own podcast and like bringing things into it rather than just like, go on Call Her Daddy. Go on like a bigger podcast and talk about, do one episode, do your thing, get it all out. It's like a constant, I feel like every few weeks I see a new TikTok clip of Christy Carlson Romano talking to a new Disney star, and it's the same question, the same this, like, I don't know. Am I the only one who's like tired of it? Maybe, I don't know. And they're dealing with their trauma. I get it. I'm not trying to be like, don't talk about your past trauma. No, that's not what I'm saying. But maybe we do like a group podcast episode where everybody gets it out. Do like a 3-hour extravaganza episode with everyone who has an issue. Put it out and then like nip it in the butt and go audition for something. Cause like you guys are bored. My God. That's my take on that for now. I feel like I will some down the road. My friend Tiff tweeted and was like, I need your opinion on like childhood star podcasts. And like, I definitely have thoughts, and those were some of them. But for now, I think they need to take their energy away from the podcast and go audition for something. And that's where I leave that. Adele is married, if no one heard, allegedly. So moving on. Adele, she's been dating Rich Paul for a few years now. I honestly don't even know how long it's been, but it's been a while. And this past weekend, she was at an Alan Carr comedy show, and he asked the crowd, he was like, has anybody gotten married lately? And she was like, I have. And yeah, so apparently Adele is married, which is very exciting. And that's so Adele of her to like announce it at a comedy club where like nobody can record and then like let it do its thing. Like it could have never gotten out. I mean, obviously I'm sure she knew what she was doing, but like it's just so Adele. I love that. I love her. And I'm kind of excited for her to have this new look on being married. You know, she had her past relationship and didn't work out. It happened. It's whatever. But I feel like has learned so much and grown so much. Hopefully she signed a prenup this time. She paid that man so much money from the last divorce. It's disgusting. So I'm sure she learned, and I hope this is her end all. I hope she doesn't have to go through it again. But yeah, Adele is married, which is crazy to think about. Like, you know, we've watched this girl go through heartbreak, get together, have a baby, a divorce, now this. I'm like, oh my God. And Adele is such like a girl's girl. Like, she's always out and about, like with the girls. She's like rapping Nicki Minaj at this gay bar. She's rapping Nicki at that gay bar. Like, she's one of us. Like, she's our people. So to see her thrive, I love to see it. Her Vegas residency has been like, it's literally sold out every single night. It is so hard to get a ticket for that show. I try every single time. I don't think I've ever actually even gotten in for verified fan. I literally have always been waitlisted to get tickets for the Adele show, and I will fly to Vegas to go. Like, it's not that I won't travel, like I try to, and it is so hard to get a ticket for this show. It's nuts. I saw her in 2016, I want to say, like 2016, 2017, I think 2016 at MSG. And that was one of the first times it was like, I remember it was impossible to buy tickets for. I was on my laptop, my phone, and my iPad trying to get these tickets. And it was 4 of us were all trying to buy these tickets. And it was impossible. You would like get them in your car. And that was back when like Ticketmaster, you would like, you could like see the seating chart, but it was like a free for all. Like, there wasn't as much, the timer would go off. Like, you wouldn't be able to like add them to your car. It was like a whole different world. I mean, Ticketmaster in itself has done so many. Remember, you used to go into Ticketmaster and you would just like put best available and they would just like give you tickets and you had to take them. You couldn't like pick it on the map. Like, it has definitely evolved over time, but I'll never forget like trying to buy these Adele tickets. It was the first time I was like, this is hard. Like, it was a lot, and it took me like an hour and a half to get the tickets. So I finally got them, and it was a blast. Oh my God, one of the best shows I've been to. She does such a good job at like the crowd work and talking to the crowd and just like laughing with the crowd. It's like a talk show essentially, and then she's just like belting out in the middle of the show. It's fantastic, and I'm dying to see the Vegas show. Don't think it's going to happen because it's impossible to get tickets, but there's my Adele tangent. But yeah, Adele is married, so hopefully we get an album about married life, and you know, we'll see, maybe she's back on the love train. We'll go from there. Moving on, some TV news. The Selling Sunset reunion happened this past week. It was good. It wasn't anything like, it wasn't groundbreaking television. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, this, like, that I was crazy. Obviously, I have notes and I have things to say. Like, it wasn't bad. The Chrishell and Nicole of it all, I feel like that's really like the whole like main story arc of a lot of this season. Chrishell literally tells Nicole, I hate you. Amanza was shook, but when she was like, I don't like you, I hate you, I was gagged. I was like, oh my God, like, she was just, I mean, I don't blame her. Nicole's an evil, rotted bitch. Like, she's not a nice person, and she just like treats Chrishell like she's just this piece of shit. And I don't see Nicole on Variety's top 40 most influential reality TV stars, but Chrishell sure is. So I don't know who she thinks she is. Like, go sell a house or something. If you're so caught up in real estate, like, leave Chrishell alone. But so that whole thing happened. She still doesn't apologize to Chrishell after the whole season. Everything goes on. Like, there's barely an apology. She like just beats around the bush the whole time. And then, I didn't know about this, but the homophobic comment she replied to, Nicole, what is wrong with you? So somebody comments on Nicole's post, some freak, and is like, ugh, I wish we were seeing less of that lesbian or something like that, talking about Chrishell, but like saying, I love your outfit. And Nicole writes back and is like, thank you, with like hearts and fire emojis. What planet do you live on? Literally, what are you thinking where you're like, what's wrong with replying to that? Like, girl, please get a grip. Like, in what world do you not see what's wrong with that? And I was so happy that Jason said, like, that wasn't right. Like, you should not have said that. I feel like since him and Nicole have been friends for so long, like, she does listen to what he says and takes what he says seriously. So for him to step in and be like, hey, that was wrong, I'm at least glad that we had that. But it's just like, I don't understand what goes through the girl's head. I really do not, because in what world are you replying to a comment that's a hate comment? It's like a backhanded compliment. They like hate on Chrishell, compliment you, and you didn't read the first half. Do you have blinders on? You didn't see the second half? Like, I don't know. It's just like, you're not fooling anyone. You're stupid. You're annoying. I can't stand her. Cannot stand her. I was happy that Chelsea did stick up for Chrishell in that moment. And like, when Tan was trying to like mediate it, she was like, well, you're a gay man. And he was like, well, listen to what I'm saying. Like, she was ready to like stand up for her. So I do appreciate appreciate that she stepped in and, you know, tried to at least make sure like everything was geared the right way, because it was wrong of Nicole, obviously, to bring that, to comment on that. And I'm glad they brought it up and like put her on the spot about it. God, I hope this is the last time I have to talk about Nicole. I hope she's off the season next, like for season 8, because I just can't deal with it anymore. She just brings such a negative energy to the show that I have no time or like wish. I have no desire to watch her on my TV anymore. So like, I'm starting the campaign of Nicole not being on next season. I said I don't care, whatever. The other part, well, there's a few parts, but one of the other parts that gagged me was when they asked Chrishell if she trusted Amanda, and she was like, no. Oh, I get it. They had their issues, like they had their beef, and there was the whole like G-flip of it all, and you know, the video and the whole thing, but she straight up was like, no, I don't trust her. I was like, whoa, that was crazy. Because then Amanda turns around and they're like, do you trust Chrishell? She's like, yeah. So clearly, like, there's something there that they are not agreeing on or communicating on. So that took me by surprise. I knew that they weren't ever going to be absolute besties again. Like, after everything that happened, they made up, they had their whole thing, and like, they're clearly friends, but for Chrishell to just be like, no, I don't trust her, I was like, whoa, that's a big statement. But that's Chrishell. Like, Chrishell's very much like, she's not getting burned again. She stands for herself. So like, if that's how she feels, that's her prerogative. And like I said, Chrishell Stiles' his mother. So I take her side on everything. So can't really, you're not going to sway me on that. Speaking of Chrishell, Miss Mary Lou, when they brought her on the reunion, I was like, what? Why? I understand she was part of the season and like she dated Jason, whatever. It was the first time Jason has seen her since they broke up, which had to be weird for her to just like walk in on his reunion. Very weird. And then for her to be like, oh, you know, Chrishell, you were only a topic of conversation in my relationship when the cameras were on. Clearly not. And even if it was only when the cameras were on, she was living rent-free in your head the entire time. So what are you trying to get at? Clearly you were thinking all these things, whether the cameras were on or off, and you were not getting that much camera time anyway, because you were only getting camera time if Jason was around. So it's not like you were sitting there waiting for your close-up. Like, you had, let's say the whole season, there's 10 episodes, they're 20 minutes each, so that's 200 minutes. That was really quick math, I'm proud of myself. You have 200 minutes of the whole season, you had maybe 50 of them. Like, she wasn't like a main character in the season. Every second she had on the show, she was talking about Chrishell. If there was no issues with Chrishell and there's no issues off camera, why are you doing it when you're on camera? Promote something. Aren't you a model? Aren't you an actress or something? Like, talk about something you're doing. Talk about something other than your boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. Freaking weird. And I don't know. I hate that they brought her on. I'm like, just like, let her fizzle out. I will say, consistently, she is clocked every time she brings something up, and she lies about it because she's always lying. She did the whole thing and she was like, oh, you know, when me, you, and Emma went to get our COVID tests or whatever it was, I guess to go into an event, like the three of them were together. And she was like, that's the only time we were alone and you didn't talk to me. And Chrishell's like, I literally complimented your dress. And Emma, of course, ride or die. I will never, there is nobody who rides or dies for somebody the way Emma does. And I'm obsessed. I love it. I think it is the sweetest thing. She is such a down bitch, and she's also so sweet. We've like chatted DMs here and there, and every time like I tag her or something, she's like, within seconds she likes it, she replies back. She is so sweet. So Emma, we love you. Not that you're listening to this, but whatever. And Emma's like, yeah, I thought it was even weird that she said that you had a pretty dress on, because like, why would she say that to you? You guys aren't friends. But Chrishell's not a bad person and clearly has no beef with you. Like, she's not threatened by you. So I don't get why you have to constantly have her name in your mouth, Mary Lou. But we won't be hearing about her next season, assuming, obviously, Jason's with somebody else. Jason has had like 3 girlfriends since they broke up, which is another topic. I don't have energy to put it into him, you know? So I'm just like, you know what? Do your thing. He's freaking weird, but so be it. Also, the lie detector. Where this lie detector man, I don't know his name, I don't know who he is, where he's from. How are you the only lie detector to get booked anywhere? He is the one on Vanity Fair, he gets this. I'm like, what in do you have with the industry? Like, who do you know? You know what I mean? Like, he is like the Nepo baby of lie detectors. If anybody in Hollywood needs a lie detector, he's the first one they call. So they bring a lie detector on, it's the guy from Vanity Fair, you know who he is, and all the girls do it. Except for Chelsea. She's like, no, I'm not doing it. Weird. Why? Like, because I'm so hot and cold with Chelsea because sometimes she's such a good friend. She's so ride or die. Like, and then other times she's just like clearly getting caught in a lie. The whole Brie situation, like, the best part though is when they're playing the whole Brie thing back, like they're doing like the montage of like everything Chelsea said about Brie, and Chelsea just sits there like stone cold because she's like, fuck, they're airing me out again. Which, like, good. You clearly are telling two different sides of a story the whole season to her. Like, it was, I don't know, it was just a lot. So I was glad to see that Brie got to like voice her opinion in real time and not with, obviously cameras were on, but in less of a filming setting and more of just like a conversational setting at the reunion. I still don't get why Chelsea was so caught up in the whole Nick Cannon and Brie situation of it all. Whatever. Hopefully she learned her lesson and like next season doesn't bring it up. Also, is Brie going to be on next season? Like, I hope we don't lose her because, again, I love her. She's one of my favorites. And the way that the season ended, she didn't look too great. Like, it didn't look too hot. And on the reunion, she even says, she's like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be at the Oppenheim group anymore. Like, she says it even then. And I don't know when they filmed the reunion exactly. It had to be a few weeks ago. But I don't know. I'm very curious if Brie will be on next season. So that's something I'm definitely looking forward to. But overall, I loved this season. The reunion, it was good. It wasn't anything like crazy. Like, it wasn't groundbreaking reality TV, but they covered, you know, what they needed to. And the other part of the reunion that I was like, what the hell, was the Selling Orange County, Selling OC, when they had the cast come on. I like Selling OC. It's not Selling Sunset. It's great. It's good, but it's not fantastic. It's not Selling Sunset. But I do enjoy it. I think it's good TV. There's good drama. There's good, like, relationships within the office, if you want to call it that. The trailer for season 3 looks nuts. Oh my God. First of all, how do they have Alex and Tyler have this whole love story at the end of the season, and then he apparently ghosts her? Like, what? I don't know. I'm excited to see like where that plays out. But she was saying, she was like, yeah, I haven't heard from him. I haven't talked to him. And everyone else was saying, they're like, yeah, I've heard from Tyler. So like, is she the only one who Tyler isn't talking to? Very weird. Like, what did she do? And I like Alex Hall. I liked her on the seasons. I didn't have an issue. But after seeing how she was on the reunion, I was a little like, I don't know. She rubbed me the wrong way. She like seems very... I feel like my feelings about her are going to change on season 3, so I'm curious to see when... I don't think there's an air date yet. I haven't seen it. I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. So obviously his film is coming out, so that will happen. The other part of the Selling OC trailer, Austin and Sean like fighting outside, where Austin is saying like, you know what rumor you started about me? Why are you talking about me and my family? Like, what the hell? They're like literally at the office. They're about to like have a fist fight outside. So I will be sat for Selling OC season 3. I'm very excited for that. Hopefully it comes out soon because I'm ready for some more TV. Like Selling Sunset, I rushed through. I feel like Roni just ended. Kardashians are going to end soon. Oh, Kardashians. Oh my God, I didn't even talk about that. But yeah, so anyway, Selling OC, very excited to see what comes out for season 3 because the trailer was very good. So I hope it wasn't just like that was the highlights of it and the rest of it's going to be trash. But we're holding out. I'm excited. And yeah, Kardashians this week. I'm trying to think. There wasn't anything too like... Nothing too crazy. The big thing I feel like was Tristan talking to Kylie and Kourtney. Kylie, they talk about the whole affair, and they talk about with Jordan, how her and Jordan were good the whole time. Like, I don't know. It's one thing about the Kardashians. They are so forgiving, I feel like, and it's not a bad trait to have. Like, it's not a bad thing, but it's just so interesting because I'm like, what does draw the line? You know what I mean? Like, we see Kim with Kanye, like obviously she's not BFF, they're not hanging out, but like she's fine with him, like she's not trashing him like she could be. Kylie forgiving Jordan, Khloe forgiving Tristan, the whole family forgiving Tristan, really. I mean, and also like Scott Disick is always around. Like they're just like very forgiving people, which again is not a bad thing. It's just I'm curious what the line for them is. Like what has to happen for that to officially... I'm trying to think if there's any bridges that have been burned that have not been rebuilt. I mean, obviously, like the Taylor thing, but I don't even count that because that was a whole Kanye thing. But I feel like they always come back around with their friends, which, again, friends fight, whatever. But, like, I've had a best friend sleep with an ex. It's not a good feeling. Like, it's not a great thing. So, like, for Kylie's best friend to sleep with her sister's ex and the father of Kylie's niece. Like, that I can't even imagine. So I don't know how she like was able to like still be friends with Jordan through that, and we're just finding out about it. Obviously they're good now. We saw them out for like sushi and whatever, but that was interesting. Other than that, it was a fine episode. It wasn't anything like to go home about. I'm like really blanking. What did they do? Oh, Kim was working the whole time. The whole episode was about Kim Kardashian working. I'm like, can you sleep? Jesus Christ. She was like doing these like 15-hour days. She wasn't sleeping. She was like working. She was filming Keeping Up with the Kardashians, or just the Kardashians, whatever it's called. Now they changed the name. They were filming the Kardashians. She was on set for American Horror Story. She was doing things for like scam. It was like a whole thing. And I'm like, my God, can this woman relax? Like, that was the point of the episode. It was like, right, Kim was working and they forgave Tristan. That was all I got from the episode. So that's my recap on that. And that actually brings us to our yes and mess of the week. If you're new here, every week I end the episode with my yes of the week and my mess of the week. Yes being something I love, mess being something I'm not loving. And I kind of teased what my yes was a little bit earlier with our new releases, but TateMcRae. Oh my God. So my yes, clearly, because I'm over the moon. So TateMcRae, I mean, I don't know how anyone doesn't know who she is right now. She is everywhere. She went super viral with Greedy. Then she went viral again with Exes, and she just did SNL. She did the BBMAs. She is just like on it. Oh my God. She is just serving what a pop star needs to be, and I'm obsessed with it. So it's also interesting because it's not like it's her first album or anything. She has an album out. She had that song with Troye Sivan, which I'm obsessed with. It was one of my favorite songs of that year. She's like the most insane dancer. She was on So You Think You Can Dance, but she's just having this crazy surge right now, and I am so here for it. She is just doing everything right that a pop star needs to do. She's teasing songs on TikTok that are catchy, and not only just catchy in the clips, the whole song is fantastic. A lot of the time, I feel like people will tease songs on TikTok, and the 15-20 seconds that we get on TikTok, that's the only good part of the song. Tate, every song she's put out that's been teased on TikTok, the whole song follows up and it's fantastic. So I, for one, am sat and ready for the album. Like I said, her single just came out on Friday, Exes. She's already teasing a new single again. So she is just like, she's on it. She's not making anybody wait for the single, which I appreciate. Troye Sivan teasing a song and not releasing it for 2 months. And I get it, it's like labels and stuff. It's, you know, it happens. But her team, whatever they are doing it right. I'm obsessed. She is like my pop star of the moment right now. I'm obsessed. The songs are fantastic. The dancing, she's a professional dancer, but like, my God, oh my God, it's insane. It's everything. I'm obsessed. Her album comes out, I want to say like the first week of December. So I am pre-saved. I'm ready to go. I'm super stoked. And I'm curious how many singles we're going to get from the album, because it's kind of giving like getting all these singles before is like not something that happens that often anymore. Usually I feel like it's like one single and then the album, but she is just like cranking things out left and right. And I'm very excited. She has a show at the Garden next August. And at first I was like, oh my God, the Garden, like that's not to discredit her, but like that's a big step to just be like, yeah, putting on my second album and playing the Garden. Like she wasn't like breaking records or anything, you know what I mean? Like Olivia Rodrigo's first album made much bigger noise than hers did, and she still did Radio City. She's doing the Garden now for her second tour. And TateMcRae's first album, like there's songs in it that I know, but it definitely didn't like break any numbers or records that I know of, at least. So for her to announce that she was playing the Garden, I was like, oh my God, whoa, like this album's gotta be good. And I take everything I thought back. She is delivering. I have no doubt that the album's gonna be great. She did like an unreleased song on SNL. It was like a slower, not a ballad necessarily, but just like a slower song. It was fantastic. It was so good. I think it was called Grave. I loved that. There's a new single coming out sometime soon, I'm guessing before the album, and kudos to her. For her songs are fantastic. Her dancing, her stage presence, everything, her team, whatever they are doing, it is the perfect recipe, and I'm obsessed. It is just so like quintessential pop star, and I just can't get enough. I'm obsessed. Switching it up and going on to my mess of the week, Jamie Lynn Spears. Just really as a whole, I mean, she's a mess. Like God, she's just like not a good person. But the news that she has been making lately, I'm like, girl, bitch, what are you doing? So my notes literally say Jamie Lynn Spears, 3 question marks, girl, question mark, what are you doing? So she's on this show, I'm a Celebrity. I don't even know what the show like is, honestly, really. I didn't care enough. That's how much I like don't care enough about her. I didn't even look up like what the show was. I just know she's on a show called I'm a Celebrity. And if you're on a show called I'm a Celebrity, I'm going to go ahead and say like you're at least C-list, D-list. Like, girl, be real. So she's on the show, and of course it all ties back to her just being like a fraud. She's like, oh yeah, I'm known for being an actress. Girl, you're known for being Britney Spears' sister. You would never have gotten Zoe 101 if you weren't Britney Spears' sister. And that's just like point blank period facts. Like, in what world do you think you're known as being an actress? Do people know you from Zoe 101? Yes. But they know Zoe. They don't know Jamie Lynn Spears. They know the character on the show who couldn't even be filmed from the waist down on the last season because you got knocked up. So let's not get ahead of ourselves to the Nickelodeon show. Trust me, I loved the show. I loved Zoe 101, but we didn't know she was a bitch back then, you know? Like, we didn't dislike her. There wasn't the whole Free Britney movement. Like, we didn't know. I loved Zoe 101. Are you kidding? For her to say, like, oh, I'm known as an actress. Like, no, you're not, girl. You're known as being Britney Spears' younger sister, and that's fine. Own it. Like, maybe if you weren't a bad younger sister, it wouldn't be such like a shame to say. Clearly she's like embarrassed or ashamed of something she's done or said because she'll never mention it. Moving forward on there, oh my God, also I'm sorry about all the traffic outside. I guess everyone is getting a rush going to their Thanksgiving plans this weekend. There's another clip that comes out this week, and she's saying, they're like, oh, what got you into music? She doesn't even mention Britney, which, I'm sorry, you're Britney Spears' sister and you're going to say that Britney didn't get you into music? Like, let's be serious for 2 seconds, please. For one moment of your career, let's be serious. She's like, oh, I've always really just been into music myself, but my mom helped get me into it. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So we're just lying now. Oh my God. Like, the first it was the book. Then it was Call Her Daddy, which that was a whole thing. I tried to repress the fact that Alex Cooper brought her on the podcast, like in the midst of all the Britney shit. And I'm like, how do you bring her on? I get it though. Like, it was the moment, like, to bring her on. Like, I don't think she brought her on as like a hero. She brought her on to question everything. And now this show, I'm like, can you just like, girl, do something else? Like, stop trying. You're on a show called I'm a Celebrity. You're not. You're riding the coattails of your sister. You ran her dry for everything with your dad and your mom. And now you're still trying to like profit without giving credit where it's due. Oh my God, I can't. I wonder if like straight people, no, they don't. I was gonna say, I wonder if straight people get this mad about Jamie Lynn Spears, but they absolutely don't. She just, God, she just rubs me the wrong way. I cannot stand her. That being said, that's, I guess, a mess of the week, which means we have made it to the end of the episode. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, it is Thanksgiving week when I'm recording this. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. If anybody is going to a family member's house this weekend or seeing family who maybe, you know, isn't necessarily like supportive of you, or they're just like closed-minded and stupid, and you know, the holidays don't sit right with you, I feel for you. I'm here for you. You are loved, and I'm sorry you're dealing with that, but just know that there's more to life out there than sitting at a Thanksgiving dinner table with somebody who doesn't agree with you. And it's 2023. Give it back to them. Give it right back. Ruin Thanksgiving dinner. Be the girl, be the guy, be the they, them who ruined Thanksgiving dinner because your Uncle Jim needed to be an asshole and make a comment about it. I'm giving you permission. And if they have an issue with it, send them right to me. We're not dealing with that anymore. We're not going to the holidays and feeling like unwelcomed, unwanted. No. You enjoy your Thanksgiving, enjoy your turkey, enjoy your mashed potatoes, enjoy your stuffing. And thank you so much for listening. And to everybody, thank you guys so much for listening. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcast, make sure you leave us a 5-star rating, leave us a review, tell us what you thought. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like this video, leave us a comment, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on all of our socials. We are at 2PopToHandle everywhere. So Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. And yeah, I hope you all had a fabulous time listening to the episode, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.